What's going on, ladies and gentlemen? AJ Gore here, and we are back with yet another Tuesday Night Live. And you know what? We've got special guest Brent Chapman coming on. He's actually just now logging in. I'll be bringing him into the chat in just a second. I'll give him a second to get settled in. But first, let's go ahead and jump over to the comment section and see what we got kicking off here. Brent will get you on here in just a second. You got a minute if you need to grab anything to drink or chew on or who knows. But anyways, we got a lot of people. YouTube's always cracking off early. Sean, what's going on? Sean Gillenwater. Gillmaster, what's going on? Gillmaster, don't go anywhere. Just a little wink there. Of course, like I said, we've got a giveaway going on with Tungsten Tackle from MadBite, which is a sister company of Casking. We got a lot of giveaways to do tonight. And Gillmaster, I'm just going to let you know, don't go anywhere. So anytime I see somebody that it's already been, and like I just want you guys to know, it's always random selection. Gillmaster, it's no secret, you're up. So don't run anywhere. I always love it whenever I can see people right out of the gate that I know. Whenever I recognize somebody that's been picked, I'm going to scroll through here to see if anybody else has been picked in the random deals here. I don't see him yet. Gillmaster, I know for sure you're on there, but I got a couple other finalists going in here. But let's see who else we got. Dan, what's going on? Glad to have you. Hope you're good to go on. Tornadoes moving through Michigan. In Indiana, that's never good. I know the weather's been pretty unstable lately back east. It's been kind of crazy. What else we got here? Who else we got in here? Best of luck to those dealing with that stuff going on. Crappie Kev, what's going on? Bob, how are you? Arthur Eckert, howdy. Helen Jones, glad to see you. Patrick Feely, glad to have you. Of course, Robert Green was in the house. Milton Thompson, what's going on? We got Okie L. King in the house. Jesse and Melissa Justice tuning in as always. Steve Yeckel. So let's get popping off. I'm going to go ahead and bring Brent on into the chat here. That way we can let him have his evening tonight. Brent, what's going on? How you doing, man?
Oh, not a lot. I had to look up the radar when I heard tornadoes in Michigan. Not that we want to see tornadoes anywhere, but let's have some tornadoes in Michigan instead of Kansas and Oklahoma for a change.
Yeah, how are you looking as far as the Doppler? You guys doing okay?
What's that?
I said, how's your neck of the woods looking as far as that Doppler goes?
Believe it or not, it's okay right now. Last night was a little bit of a scare. My nieces go to school up in Manhattan, and they had some scares up there last night. But last week at Eufaula was definitely an interesting one, to say the least.
Now, I saw, I think it was Britt Ayler had a video of him cutting across the water, and there was a tornado. Looks like he was trying to touch down on the lake.
Yeah.
Did you end up experiencing? Did you see that happening?
Actually, he's from California, so he's not the brightest when it comes to getting around tornadoes. I saw the storms coming, so I got off the water and was headed back. The sirens were going off when I got back to the house we were at, so I was just kind of hanging out there. Wesley Strader's a roommate of mine, and he was getting off the water just after me, and he actually took some pictures of it from his truck. So so it was a little scary, but I guess prayers go out to all the people that have really been affected around our country from these storms, and hopefully the ones that are going on out throughout the rest of the country aren't as severe as the ones that have been in the past. So
absolutely, yeah, totally. I mean, that's crazy. I mean, there's a part of me that wants to see a tornado from a distance, just to bucket list experience it. I don't know, but then at the same time, I'm like, no, I'll be okay without it. So.
That's how I am. I want to experience an earthquake one time in a safe place where I know there's no damage. Just to say, I've seen a couple of tornadoes when I was a little kid, but yeah, that's I want to experience an earthquake sometime in my life.
Are we weird for that? Are we weird to want to go through these national disasters? But listen, I want to be there, but it's kind of like I want to see a nuclear bomb go off from a safe distance. It's like no,
no, I don't want to do that. I'll watch that on TV.
Yeah, I'll take it. Yeah, I'll take that in the movie. That's good for me. So, we'll get some ladies and gentlemen out there. If you guys are watching, stick around. We're going to be doing some giveaways here pretty quick when we wrap up with Brent. Of course, I already saw that one of our viewers that's been selected is already in the chat. So stick around. You guys are going to love it. But Brent, take us through. Now, you actually are coming off of a really good performance, making it to the knockout round. And I always look at that as still a good performance. Granted, everybody's like, well, you didn't win. But, I mean, dude, to compete at the level that you guys compete at just to get to the knockout round, I mean, that's bringing home a check, right? I mean, your check points, Just, I mean, it all matters. And of course, fishing with the best of the best in the entire world just to get to the knockout round. I mean, that's hard on any given body of water for anybody.
Yeah, you're exactly right. And, obviously every event we go to, we'd love to win the event. And I look back at this one. I've been watching some of the live that, I've been watching it on TV today, and I realized how close I was, yet, came up a little bit short. I mean, I literally started the tournament where Zach Burge won the tournament at. So I was just off just by a little bit. But the reality of it is fishing is how I make my living. It's how we pay the bills. And, if I can go to an event and walk away making a good profitable check and the points at the end of the day, if I can make the knockout round at every event, I'm going to make a really good income for the year. I'm going to make Red Crest. And, if the finishes are high enough, be right there in the hunt for an Angler of the Year title as well. So, yes, would I love to win? Absolutely. But at the same time, it is literally, it's about, consistently finishing high as well.
Right. Now, so you made it to the knockout round, but before we get into the knockout round, take us through day one, day two, and then the knockout round. I mean, did you struggle? I mean, obviously, I think day two was your better day, right? So,
oh yeah, without a doubt. For me, usually when I have a good finish, I'm consistent each day. And unfortunately for me, hopefully this is a turning point. If I have a bad day, usually it's hard for me to have had a better second day. Well, this event was an exception. People followed along. This event changed every single day. I mean, it was just amazing. The very first day of practice was incredible. Had a lot of bites. The lake was stable. It was normal pool. Well, then in a matter of 48 hours, the lake came up like 4 feet. We had a ridiculous amount of rain. I think it was like 8 to 10 inches of rain in the area, and the lake came up a tremendous amount. The second day of practice, I had maybe 5 or 6 bites. The final day of practice had like 2 bites. So it was just really a hard one to make decisions and adjust. And, I felt like in the tournament, you were going to have to make some adjustments. And I literally committed to a part of the lake that the water quality was good. The conditions were great there. And what was interesting is myself and there was about 5 of us that I know of. There was 2 guys that got checks out of there, but no one made the knockout round out of that part of the lake. And I caught 1 scoreable bass out of there the first day. And what's amazing is I went down to my other area that I found. I decided, I don't have anything to lose. I'm going to go down to my second area. I go into this area and just proceed to start catching fish and caught I think 30 pounds that final day. And I didn't even hardly fish in there the final period. I actually went back the final period of the second day and fished where Zach Burge won to try it again and still couldn't get a bite out of it. So those fish hadn't turned on yet. So it was just amazing making that change. But then I go to the knockout round, and you always know knockout round, you're going to run into guys from Group B that are potentially fishing the same area.
Right.
And what's amazing is that lake that is as big as it is, I don't remember the acreage, but I remember hearing them talk. It's twice the size of Grand Lake just up the road in Oklahoma. Well, so here's this massive lake. I go down there during the knockout round. I think I'm the 5th. I'm like the 10th boat out. So I get down there. I beat one of the other competitors down there because he was slower than me. But so I get down there and I get to this cove, and there's already Dean Rojas, Takahiro Mori, Randy Howell, and the other guy comes in and he kind of passed me where he shouldn't have passed me in the no wake area. But it was so 5 of us started in one little cove that were all in the top 10 in the standings. So it was just amazing how many fish were in there. I got in there and fished for a little bit, but I kind of realized if there's that many people in here fighting it out, trying to make the championship round, the odds of that happening are not good. So at that point, I made the executive decision to run back up to where I fished the first day of competition, thinking maybe the water stabilized up there. I knew the water quality was good, that I could make it happen up there. And long story short, I get up there, I catch a 3-pounder right off the bat. And that was all I caught. I ended up going back down to where I started. And All the guys that were in that area, the only one that started in that area that actually made it to the championship round was Randy Howell, and he didn't even catch him out of that area anyway. So it was just interesting. Yeah. Sometimes the best areas in a tournament situation ultimately don't become the winning locations because too many of us find the same stuff.
That's a good point. Now, I got a question here, ladies and gentlemen. If you guys are watching, you got a question for Brent, throw them out there. Like Creed Garner says, what's Brent's favorite Cast King reel?
Obviously, that's the Bassinator Elite. The 8-to-1 is probably the one I use 99% of the time. But I got to say, the newest Cast King reel that I'm such a fan of is the MG12. That MG12 has kind of opened the door for me to fish some baits on bait casting reels that I couldn't typically have fished in the past.
Okay. All right. So here's another question for you is from Gillmaster, and Gillmaster, he's got he's a hot topic tonight. He's been picked for one of the giveaways or a finalist, but he's got a question for you. I have to be that guy for Brent. What does it say? I'm sorry. Brent, do you have any stories about Cliff Crochet?
Cliff Crochet. Well, I have a couple stories, but I don't know if they're even appropriate for here, so I'm not going to share those stories. Cliff might kill me, but I'm going to share kind of a funny one because I just saw it posted. We were all actually together. Tate, the owner of Cast King, was in last week, and he had some of his engineers with him last week that don't even speak English. And here we are in Eufaula, Oklahoma, and I took them fishing, and Cliff was with us, and we all tried to go fishing. Well, the storms of Oklahoma showed up, and we didn't get to spend much time on the water. So we ended up at Brahms, of all places, about as redneck, middle of America, Oklahoma. And here we are with Tate and, an engineer from China and all this. And we're at Brahms in the pouring down rain, having lunch. And there's like a field trip of kids in there. So it's total chaos. And we're in there, and Cliff and the gentleman that speaks Chinese are doing a TikTok in the middle of that. So if you go on social media, I think I saw they even did it on Instagram. You can kind of see the little tidbit that Cliff and the engineer from China did. It's kind of funny. So Cliff, I have a hard time understanding Cliff the half the time. So it's kind of funny just watching Cliff communicate with people that don't typically speak English anyway.
Yeah, they speak better English than Cliff does.
So. Yeah, there you go. There you go. Yeah, they speak better English than Cliff does. I like that.
It's true. It's Cliff. He speaks his own language, and I love it. One thing I'll tell a Cliff Crochet story real fast for people that I love about Cliff. Cliff likes to do a thing called people watching. Whenever like he's at big events or like shows. When it's all said and done and over, and he's got all his things, his obligations wrapped up, he goes and hangs out somewhere and just watches, because he's in an area where there's a lot of people congregating, hotels, event centers, whatever. So he just sits back, enjoys, and laughs at some of the weird things that unfold in front of him. And then to listen to him joke about it is a whole other. It's something else, because like you said, he doesn't quite speak English.
Yes. Well, I can associate with that. I love to people watch, and that's kind of one of the things I miss about ICAST being in Vegas, because the last time ICAST was in Vegas was with my good buddy, the late Aaron Martins. Him and his wife and my wife and I, we would go to dinner, and we were actually staying at the Hard Rock, and we would get a coffee, and we would just sit back and people watch. So I can relate to Cliff's people watching. And if you want to do some really entertaining people watching, go to Vegas and you can do lots of people watching. And my dogs can say hello as well.
That's okay. Yeah, I've got stories about dog appearances. I have a dog appearance on my show all the time, which I may have tonight. My dog's running around with a funnel on her head right now.
Get up there, but they won't make an appearance. They'll just be audible in the background.
I got a story with Al and his dog one time. That's another show, but
I've seen Al's dog
before. So now I had a question up there a few minutes ago, and it was, what is Brent's favorite casting line? But I'm going to go ahead and interject in that one. Brent actually has a whole other company that he's been with for a long time as far as line goes. So I don't know that you've ever used any of our line.
Yes, the hammer braid, absolutely. The hammer braid's some phenomenal stuff, and I hope to be using a lot of it here in the next few weeks, because guess what it is? It's topwater time. So that means the frogs and the ploppers and poppers, all buzz baits, all that are going to be coming out, and the hammer braid's going to be right there with them, and all that. All my spinning reels have hammer braid on them as well.
Oh, really? So you do the leader a lot. So
yes. So fishing tip of the night is, if you own a spinning reel and you don't have hammer braid on it, you're behind the times. You need to learn to tie the FG knot and use braid with a fluorocarbon leader. There you go.
So now, what about your bait casters? Are you still, now granted, throwing top water or punching or things like that, braid, but on a lot of your like flipping, throwing bladed jigs, I mean, it's no secret you throw a bladed jig. Are you still primarily throwing 100% fluorocarbon, or?
Absolutely. Yes. That very rarely I throw top waters on braid. Flipping, I don't even prefer braid for flipping. I prefer fluorocarbon. I'll even go up to 25 and 30 pound fluorocarbon, just because I prefer the way it feels, and I feel like I get a lot more bites on fluorocarbon. So basically for me, when it comes to braid on a casting rod, it's basically for top waters. Is where I primarily use it. And swim jigs. Swim jigs.
Mess with mono?
What's that?
I said, do you ever use mono anymore? Or is that out the window?
The only time I use mono anymore is for a leader attached to braid for topwaters.
Okay.
For like a prop bait, or maybe a popper or something. If I'm fishing real clear water and I want to have a mono leader on there just for some invisible action. Sorry, we have a distraction on the back deck with dogs. So
it happens.
Yes, dogs are being crazy tonight. They're making a scene. So sorry about that. But yes, mono very, very rarely anymore.
All right. And then I've got a question here. What rods do you use? Obviously Speed Demon Pro rods, but is that all you use, or are you playing around with anything else?
That's all I use. That's from spinning, casting, every size you can imagine. It's all Speed Demon rods.
And there ain't a thing wrong with that. That's such a good rod right there. So.
Exactly. Yep.
For sure. All right. So I got a question for you. Is there a lure that you still use that is not available anymore and you've like hoarded a bunch? Or is there a lure that you miss and is no longer available and you wish was around?
Yeah, there's a few. Now, obviously, they still make it, but they're just not the same. The old school wiggle warts, the old Storm wiggle warts back in the day. The originals are hard to beat. And people can say, oh, the new ones are just as good, or there's this or that. You can blindfold me, hand me a rod. I can throw one out. I can tell you in a matter of a couple of casts what's an original versus it's just the action. It's probably more at that point. It's a confidence thing. And then another bait that just comes to mind off the top of my head, one of them is, they may still make it, but is the Lunker Lure Vibratron spinner bait. But to me, that was a bait I threw 20-some years ago. It had a unique blade to it, had a unique action. But the more I fish a bladed jig, I'm like, that action that spinner bait makes is the action now that a bladed jig makes. It's got the same unique vibration to it. But another bait that comes to mind are the old original Smithwick floating rogues. They had a small bill on them. They probably still make them, but they're just not the same as the original ones. If you remember, Van Dam won the classic in Pittsburgh with the original floating rogue. It's just a very unique jerk bait for shallow water actions, and that's a bait that he won on there. So it's a good bait for sure.
And no longer available anymore. That's crazy. All right, now pros versus Joes. How's that going? Is there any crazy? Let me know how pros versus Joes is going and how people can find that.
It's good. It's been fun to bring that show back, because it reminded me, after taking a break for a few years, I get to fish places that I normally wouldn't get to fish. I get to meet and fish with people that I would have probably never fished with. And, this year, I think we've got 7 or 8 of them in the bag. We've still got to do, I don't know, half a dozen more. And we're working on the plans of those to get some up and going, but they're going good, and really enjoy doing them, and looking forward to doing more of them.
Now, have you ever gotten on Pros versus Joes? And of course, a lot of times you're sitting here with the bullies of that body of water, so to speak. Like they're dominant. They do. There's my dog with the cone of shame going on right there. But she got. I think she's got bit by something on her nose, and she clawed at it. So we had to put her the cone of shame on her. But anyways, has there been anything like a major takeaway from? Okay, I've fished this body of water with this Joe on Pros versus Joes, but that person taught me something. Like, was there ever any kind of takeaways or breakthrough moments where you're like, dude, like I never thought of it that way, or this guy taught some new thing?
There's probably some. I'd have to go back and look at them, but the one that comes to mind is this year. We did a show. I don't even know if it's aired yet. So, but we did a show with a younger kid from the Texas area, and he was a live scoper, and it was right around Toledo Bend. And we went out, and we were going to try to do a show all with live scoping. And I'm still learning it, but this kid, this is what he does. This was his wheelhouse. We were at one of the lakes where a lot of big ones get caught this way, and we got out there. And I'm like, I realized how committed he was to it, because after about 20 minutes, I'm like, okay, we've thrown it 5 or 10 different fish. We haven't caught one yet. Let's go do something different. And he was all in. Well, finally, after about an hour I'm like, hey, there's a lot of fish swimming around here. I can't even tell you that they're bass, but hey, when you're filming a show, we have to catch some fish. So
yeah, I need some content, bro.
You see that cove over there that's got milfoil in it and hydrilla? Let's go over there and throw a bladed jig. So we go over there, throw a bladed jig, catch a couple fish. Next thing I know, he's got us back out in the middle of the lake, and he's casting at these fish. And the first time out there, the fish wouldn't even look at the bait. The next time out there, they started to at least look at the bait, but they still wouldn't eat it. And finally, I'm like, okay, let's go back to the bank. We have to catch a few more fish to get a show here. It doesn't matter how we catch them. We got to make a show.
Right.
We get up, we catch a few more fish. Now we're basically almost got us a show done. And we go out again to these fish. Now it's, instead of being 9 o'clock in the morning to 11 to now it's 1 o'clock. It's warmed up some. The water's warmed up a few degrees. And now it went to, he's casting at some fish, and now they're starting to chase his jerkbait. I'm like, wow, these fish their mood has changed. And after about 4 or 5 of them chasing that, and they're actually excited, he catches one. It's like a 5-pounder. And it was really an eye opener to me as working and fishing live scope for so long, to see how committed to some of these guys are to it. But what it really opened my eyes to was understanding the fish behavior and knowing how to make adjustments with the bait, and realizing I need to take my forward-facing sonar fishing to a whole nother level. So, there's the short answer to that question.
But yeah, I mean, it also gets on that topic too. Like, had you say this was a tournament and you committed all that time like he did to just trying to catch a couple, that's a make or break situation. You know what I mean? And there's so many different key factors. And I think you and I have talked before where sometimes you end up getting hung up on it and you stare at it more than you should. Well, and you can just go fishing.
It was really, and what was funny is to hear this kid, even he was like all in with it. And it was one of those deals where if it was a MLF format type deal, I'd have been way ahead of him just by scoreable catches before he even caught one. Now, maybe later in the day, it would have evened out. And if it was a 5-fish deal, he might have been out there grinding and caught his 5 fish versus my 5 fish or something like that. But it's really interesting to see how committed some of the guys are. But he even told me, which was interesting, when I get him up there where I'm so committed now to staring at a screen, to just, it feels weird for him to just throw up there and anticipate a bite by reeling it. So it's just really an eye opener to see how our sport is changing just, every week. I mean, and that was kind of a big relief to go to Lake Eufaula and finally go back and fish old school where, 99% of the fish were caught just guys fishing old school wise. And the neat thing is
actually going out and fishing.
The next two events are probably going to be those type of events as well.
Cool. That's awesome. I mean, don't get me wrong. Like, I don't have live scope on my boat. I've got all Garmin setups. They're ready to go for live scope. And I keep going, do I just bite the bullet and do it and then learn it? And I need to do it. I need to do it. But I've got friends that have it and they're like, it is a game changer, but you do get hung up sometimes. And it's like one guy could say, yeah, I went out there, like you said, you were just kicking his butt and scoreable bass.
Right.
And at the end of the day, you may have just walked off and left him, or at the end of the day, he caught 5 bites that whole day. Right. It took him 8 hours to get those 5 bites, but the quality could have equaled. I mean, it's still fishing at the end of the day.
Well,
so it's hard.
And what I tell people is love it or hate it, it's here to stay. And it's just another tool in the toolbox for you to learn how to use it to, ultimately most people go fishing to have fun. And forward-facing sonar is going to make you a better fisherman out there on the water. And if nothing else, it's going to let you know of, if I throw over here to the left side of the boat, I'm wasting my time because all the fish are over here on the right side, or the brush pile is over here to the right and I'm throwing over here to the left. So it's just going to make you more efficient on the water. I mean, for me, I go crappie fishing for fun. And it will be very, very hard for me to go crappie fishing ever again for fun of it without forward-facing sonar, just because it is such a game changer there. Now, bass fishing, I'm perfectly fine if we go to a tournament and, hey, you're not allowed to use it. I'm fine with that. But at the same time, I'm still using it as a tool to know there's cover in that direction and there's no cover, or there's no reason to throw here where I should be throwing there. So, whether you use it to actually watch your bait on the screen and watch a fish come up and eat it, or fish to act, it's just going to at least show you where the targets are and make you more efficient out there on the body of water.
Well, if you ever come across any transducers, you know what I mean?
We'll see what we can do.
Good deals or anything else like that. I'll probably pull the trigger one of these days. All right. So pretty much going to be wrapping up with you here in just a minute, but I got a couple things to ask you. Is there a bait that is underrated, that doesn't get talked about enough, that you use? I mean, like, so you are known as the bladed jig. Like, that's, if somebody is, that's all he throws is a bladed jig. Is there another bait that you use a lot that is like a go-to other than your bladed jig that you don't get any praise for? Not that you need to be praised for using baits, but is there a go-to when you're not using your bladed jig? Do you have like I always have to have it?
I'm trying to get better at it and have more confidence in it and fish it more, especially with our every fish counts format. And I'm learning from some buddies of mine. I try to almost always have one tied on, and it's a drop shot.
Oh, really?
Because the darn drop shot, it seems like if there's fish around, and I'm learning from my son and another buddy of mine that's a co-angler, and he's like, when things get tough, it's like I can always break out a drop shot with a little robo worm on it, and if all else fails, I can catch some fish. And this stems from the Toyota event that my son and I fished last year at Chickamauga. The first day I go out and I catch, I think 22 or 23 pounds on a bladed jig, and I'm in like second place. And I'm embarrassed to even say this, but this is just the nature of the beast. I went out the next day and I zeroed. I never caught a keeper bass the entire day. The conditions completely changed. I could not buy a bite on the bladed jig. I think I caught one 12-inch bass the entire day. And talking to my buddy that was fishing as a co-angler, and even some of his friends that were fishing the same area, he's like, if you'd have just picked up that drop shot, I know, he said, I know it seems so counterproductive, and just thrown that through those areas, you'd have probably scratched out a limit pretty easy. And the more I've played with it since then, I'm like, yeah, he was probably right about that.
See, so, like I used to hate drop shot, and everybody calls it a fairy wand and sissy way to fish and cheating. And I got to where I got pretty good with the drop shot. And then I started playing with it because you've fished in Arizona. You know, some of the lakes that I fish in. There's a lot in Roosevelt where I fish the most, tons of structure. tons of structure, and it fluctuates a lot. But I've learned that sometimes they'll shut off in the deep, and I'll go up. So I start fishing in the shallow again. No forward facing sonar. So I'm fishing traditional ways, trying to find them. They're not biting, and they're not quite hitting the drop shot like you'd think they would sometimes. But they're not quite hitting in the shallows. So I've gone to power shot a lot more, where it's heavy line. You know what I mean? In those trees, in the shallow. And I tell you what, it has changed a lot of things. So yeah, I'm a huge believer in drop shot, but also power shot. Brent, try it.
Yeah. Oh yeah. No. And when I say that, that's what I mean as well. Is the drop shot, power shot, kind of the same thing, and it's just a different presentation that I don't think a lot of people do. There's certain lakes where they do it a lot, but I'm talking lakes where it traditionally isn't a technique, and that's one of those things that I wish earlier in my career I would have paid more attention to. Is Aaron Martin's one of the best anglers out there. He always had drop shots tied on him. He was always tying them. And I'll never forget the very second time I met him is when he shows up at the Chicago Bassmaster Classic. And here I am, I'm throwing my little finesse crankbaits in this little backwater pond around riprap. And I'm like, why is he over there throwing a spinning rod? And he's literally wearing them out. And I'm, grinding out a limit a day. And here they're throwing this new technique called the drop shot. So yeah, the drop shot is one of those things that you always got to have tied on.
All right. So I've had you on for 30 minutes. I'm going to end it up with this last question.
Yeah.
Do you have a celebration ritual of some kind when, say, you win a tournament, make it to the knockout round, whatever it may be? Is it ice cream? Is it shots of tequila? Doubt it. What do you do to kind of like reward or celebrate?
Well, I guess the ritual is now that we're rooming with Wesley Strader and all that, it's kind of, I guess the ritual is whoever is the highest finisher, whoever gets in the money or the highest finisher or whatever is buying dinner. So Wesley's bought me a couple steak dinners this year, and I got to buy him a steak dinner at the last one. So I guess that's a ritual, and it's not necessarily a ritual whether I catch them or not. I don't know where they went, but they're around here somewhere. My nightly snack is I got to have my dark chocolate almonds, preferably the dark chocolate almonds from Buc-ee's, but we haven't been to Buc-ee's in a while. So Bobby gets me my little Amazon order of dark chocolate almonds. So they're healthy, right? They're dark chocolate. That's what's good for you. And they're almonds. So that's my little nightly snack of those, but I have to ration them. I give myself a little cup of them, and I eat them that way, because if you stuck the whole bag here in front of me with no container, I might eat the whole bag.
It happens. It happens.
Yes. So,
well, Brent, I appreciate you coming on. I know you've got dinner back there waiting for you. You got to be, and you've had a long day out in the yard. Thank you for coming on. Is there anything that you wanted to shout out to anybody? Your next tournament coming up, where they can find Pros versus Joes, how they can follow you? The mic is yours.
Yes. If there's one thing, obviously our sport is changing, and our job as professional anglers is educating the world and entertaining the world and the fans. And the biggest thing is we're really trying to make a big push on our YouTube channel. Bobby, my wife, is the business partner, and between her and I, we're really trying to ramp up our YouTube. And so, please, fans, go to YouTube. Click on them, watch them, Pro versus Joes, all that. Be sure to click on there. I even tell people, go into the office. If you get in there someday, click it on every computer, please. The more likes and shares we can get of that is so greatly appreciated.
Awesome. Well, Brent, thank you very much. Go enjoy dinner. Tell the family we said hello, and we'll see you next time. I
get to enjoy dinner, so then I can enjoy my almonds. So
that's it.
Thank you. And good luck on your next time. I can be on there and interact with the fans, we'd be happy to.
Excellent. Yeah. Hey, good luck on the next tournament coming up. Hope to see you in the knockout round and on championship round.
Yes, we're looking forward to it. Yes, to the fans, be sure to tune in and watch the Chowan River here in a few weeks, because it's a new lake we've never been to, or a new body of water we've never been to. It's actually a tidal river system, and it's going to be one that I think is going to be a pretty special event.
Awesome. Thanks.
Awesome. Good deal.
Thank you very much for coming on. Have a great night.
Certainly. You too. Thank you.
See you later.
Uh-huh.
All righty, Mr. Brent Chapman. So hopefully he's worked up an appetite. He's going to go in there and and get some of that dinner. And then, of course, he's going to be tearing up that dark chocolate and almonds and have a good time. And like Melody says, it's healthy. So, all righty. So without further ado, I know you guys have been hanging in there very patiently. We got some giveaways to do. So right out of the gate, I'm going to get this one going right here. So we know he was a finalist. So let's take a look and see what we've got going on in the comment section. I can start looking around to see who else we have in here that might be a finalist. I haven't quite paid attention, but I did know Gillmaster was in there just because Gillmaster. I mean, that name pops out to me. So, all righty. So, oh, wait, hold on. Got another Melody Thomas. Now, I know Melody personally, and she is a health specialist, so she says it's Melody approved. So, all right, getting back into it. So, let's see here. Gillmaster, you are a finalist for YouTube, and we've got, oh, there it is, Fred Delgado. You're in here too. So, Freddie, hey, right on. Glad to see you, man. All right. So, now, Gillmaster, you were the first one. You got to hear the whole time that you're a finalist, but I'm going to let Fred or Freddie pick out whether he wants heads or tails. And then I've got a change up for the people who didn't win tonight. I've got a little switch hitter for them. So I'm not going to give you any more details, but let's see what's going on. This is for our tungsten. So got MadBite. We've got, and I'm starting to fill up a new tungsten box so you can see some of the different MadBite tungsten I've got in here. This is some of the different tungsten you can get. Of course, we do have drop shot tungsten or worm weight tungsten. So you guys will take your pick if you are the lucky winner on a package, size, weight, whatever you want to do, whether you want to do the drop shot tungsten or whether you want to do actual worm weight tungsten of MadBite. You'll get your choice if you are the lucky winner of that tungsten. So, Fred, what are we doing here? Are we doing heads or are we doing tails, Fred? What do we got? Let me find my coin too, because my desk has moved around and now I can't. Oh, there it is. Got it. There is my handy dandy coin there. So, Fred, what do we got? Are we doing heads or are we doing tails? Let's see. Fred says tails. Found it right there. All right. So, Gillmaster, are you ready? Are you in the house? It was funny. It was last week. We were doing giveaways live, and it blew my mind on how many people would come in. I told them that we're doing giveaways live on air, and they bombed out, and their names got picked, and so we just moved on. So, okay, we got Gillmaster. Now you don't, on these giveaways, this is the rebroadcast giveaways, you don't have to be here to win live, okay? But it's nice. It's nice for the show. So, but it blew my mind. Still, last weekend, these guys were splitting, and they missed their chance. So, all right, so tails never fails. Gillmaster, here we go. So if heads, Gillmaster gets his choice of whether he wants some MadBite drop shot weights, or tails, he wants some MadBite drop shot or worm weights, and they get to pick what weight they want. So here we go. Next is coming Facebook. So here we go. All right. Tails, Freddie Delgado. Heads is going to be Gillmaster. All right, guys. Who do you think got it? Do you think it's heads or do you think it's tails? Let's see. Like I said, if you don't end up being the winner in this coin toss, don't run anywhere because I got a little kicker going on this one. So let's see here. All right. So we have heads, a couple tails in there. Who else? We got a lot of heads going on here. So, now tails. All right, let's take a peek. Let me see. Oh, right there. It is heads. Freddie Delgado, I'm sorry you did not win the MadBite tungsten, but don't run anywhere. We've got you. We got something that may work out for you. So let me go ahead and write down. We got right here. Gillmaster is our winner. Congratulations, Gillmaster. Now, being this is a YouTube deal, what I need from you, Gillmaster and Freddie, listen, this may apply to you too. Contact me on Facebook Messenger, a.j.gore. Just let me go ahead and do this. Like you'll see right here in the description, right here, a.j.gore on Facebook Messenger. I'll be the guy holding up fish in a straw hat. Show me your login screen, your home screen from YouTube, so I can make sure you're you and somebody's not trying to pirate your win. And then I'll get all your information and get you dialed in with some new MadBite tungsten weights, your choice of drop shot or worm weights, and get you hooked up. So Gillmaster, you are our winner. But like I said, Freddie, don't go anywhere. All right, let's jump into our Facebook contestants here. Let me come over here. And now here we go. Here are our randomly selected contestants. And guys, yes, what happened there? Okay, there it went. So now again, you don't have to be present to win, but you do have about a 30-day roll. If you guys miss this in the rebroadcast, somebody, you know, this person, they have to contact me within 30 days of being a winner, so they win, to get their prize. Okay, now here we go. So always contact me. Jennifer Liebman says always present. So we've got Diane Yeckel. Diane, you're here. There she is right there. Whoop, whoop. So, and then of course we got Matt Kilmer. Anybody know if Matt Kilmer's in here? Has anybody seen Matt Kilmer? Matt Kilmer, if you are here, let me know. If not, you guys know that Matt Kilmer is here, or can get on to him. Let him know we got it going on. So, all right, Diane, we know you're here. We don't see Matt Kilmer. Matt, if you are here, please comment in the comment section. But Diane, do me a favor. Let me know whether you want heads or tails. Jose, you're already winning at everything, bro. You're winning it all. You've won my heart, Jose. I mean, that's, bro, right there. All right. Anyways, okay. What do we got here? Let's see here. Oh, Diane Yeckel says tails. Oh, and I believe Steve over here is saying tails. Something tells me that those two have some kind of relationship with each other. I'm not sure. Maybe I'm crazy. I don't know. Maybe it's just me thinking out loud here. All right. All right. Here we go. So we've got Diane is putting it up there. Tails right there. She's got it. And now where did I just have my coin? Oh, right here, my coin. So as you can see, it is not a fake coin. It is not a double-sided coin. Heads and tails. Diane says she's going for tails. Now, again, for those of you just tuning in, this is going to be for the MadBite Tungsten worm weights or the MadBite Tungsten drop shot weights. And you guys will get to choose which one you want and what weight you want in those applications. So here we go. Diane saying Steve is her husband. Okay. Yeah. Yeah, I was wondering. It was just kind of suspicious. It was sus. No, I'm teasing. All right, here we go. Tails for Miss Diane Yeckel. And then, of course, heads is going to be for Matt Kilmer. Matt Kilmer. All right, here we go. Wish her luck, guys. All right, here we go. Did Diane bring home the win, or is Mr. Matt Kilmer going to need to contact me, guys? What do you think? Heads or tails? Heads or tails? Let's see. Wait a minute. Steve's saying she took my well, I'm just gonna leave that one alone, Steve. Even though that was bad. We're having people say heads. She's got it. Let's see what else we got. Who we got? Tails. She's saying it's tails. We got a couple people saying tails. Let's see here. She did take it. All right. What else we got? All right. Is she going to walk away with a win? Matthew's saying heads. Diane wins, which Diane doesn't win if it's heads. It's going to be, she wanted tails, and it's going to be Matt Kilmer if it's heads. All right. So let's see. Melody saying it's tails. Joe Pike says heads. Gilmaster says tails. Jose is saying tails never fails, and she wanted tails. Here it goes right here. So everybody sees. Man, apparently it's just not happening. Heads for the win for Mr. Matt Kilmer. Let me write that down. But like I said, Diane, don't go anywhere. So we have Matt Kilmer is our winner of the Tungsten. All right. But now we've got Freddie Delgado and Diane Yeckel. They are both contestants, finalists, but did not come away with the Tungsten win. But what I'm going to do, I'm going to go ahead and flip it. Let me go ahead and present a screen here. And it is going to be, yes, let's go with this one right here. So what we have right here, of course, you have the MadBite Tungsten. These are the two things we were up for. But right here, check this out. You guys are going to go ahead and get a complimentary, courtesy of your friends over at Casking, the Dead Drop Jig Heads. So nobody loses tonight. Nobody loses tonight. The drop or the dead drop dead. The drop dead jig head, which actually kind of rhymes. Maybe it is drop dead, but dead drop jig heads is going to go to. So we got the Tungsten going to Matt Kilmer and Gilmaster and Freddie Delgado and Diane Yeckel. You guys will be able to get a package filled with the MadBite dead drop jig heads. So, guys, do me a favor. Contact me on Facebook Messenger, a.j.gore, for your information. The YouTube, you're going to need, if you were YouTube, so that's going to be for Freddie Delgado. I'm going to need to see your login screen for YouTube. That way nobody pirates your deal. And then, of course, Diane, you're going to be contacting me through Facebook Messenger. You're already a Facebook contestant, so that's an easy verification. I'll get your name, all your information, and figure out what we need to get figured out to get these sent off to you. So congratulations to everybody, because everybody's a winner tonight. But, of course, we had to get some excitement going in on the tungsten. So congratulations to our tungsten winners, and congratulations to Diane Yeckel and Freddie Delgado on receiving some dead drop jig heads. So these are going to be fantastic for you. So that's great. So let me see here. I like that. Matthew Dillon sending complimentary casting stuff to the people who didn't win. We'll word it that way. Just to be nice. Let's be nice. Let's be nice. Everybody likes to get some goodies. So, guys, that's going to do it for me. That was a good show. Love having Brent Chapman on. Hopefully, we'll get old James Elam in here pretty soon. Clip Crochet, and then, of course, Skeet Reese getting inducted here pretty quick into the Bass Fishing Hall of Fame, getting his gold reel, the eye reel from Casking, presented by Tate and Al Noriker recently this week. Such cool stuff. Also, congratulations to Brent and Skeet making it to the knockout round. And then, of course, Skeet moving on to the championship day and a very, very close third place finish, almost placing into second place. I think if he had another 30 minutes to an hour, he would have taken over second for sure. So, but it's fishing. A lot of things can change. Who knows? But yeah, great performances from Team Casking last week. And I know they had a lot of visitors, and out there in Oklahoma, they had a whole lot of fun. I mean, we had Jose was out there, Al was out there. There was a whole bunch of people from our Shenzhen offices having a good time, getting some content made, and also doing some R&D with the elites on water. So it was really cool to have. It was really cool to see. So guys, make sure you're following us at Casking USA on TikTok. Of course, check out the Casking USA store on TikTok as well. It's a lot of really cool deals going on there. Check us out on Instagram, Casking USA and Casking Community. And then don't forget, if you're watching right here on Facebook and YouTube, you've already got it figured out. Just make sure you're subscribed or following, turn the notification bell on. So that way, when we go live, like myself or Nikki or anybody else, you don't miss a chance at scoring a win right there. And of course, I have to pick this up because I know it's probably true. Everybody out there making fun of Give It Away AJ, just Jose's mean to me, and he gets everybody to pick on me at these shows. And now they're making fun of me when I'm not around. Jose, that's it, man. That's it. We're not sharing a hotel room at ICAST this year. I'm done. That's it. It's not going to happen. All righty, guys, that's going to do it for me tonight. I will see you guys next Tuesday night. And hey, who knows? Maybe another giveaway. Who knows who the special guest is going to be? But it's going to be a fun show. We'll see you guys next Tuesday. I'm out. Have a great night.